I'm Jack Doherty and I want to be your president for next year. There we go. A little about me, I am 18 years old, soon to be 19, I'll be turning 19 on Friday. I'm a first year media production student, and it's been going well so far. I've been an LGS member since the start of university, as one of the first places I went to. Like, came to the Societies Fair, they were there at the corner, saw Reese, went, you're cool, I'm going to come. And been coming since the start of then. I've been an active member, and if you haven't seen me before, you've probably heard me. I'm that loud. And I've been to all like the council meetings, so kind of have an idea of what goes behind it. But yeah, I'm also a massive weeb, that's me from there, if you couldn't tell already. Next. Why I was president?
And derailed.
I genuinely love society. I love all you guys. You've been great. When I came to uni, I was like quite a shy person, but like meeting people through the society, like Reese, Ollie, Joe, people like that. Jackman.
Bastard.
Who are you again?
Well, you're behind me. I'm literally.
Gilbert.
Yeah,
Yeah, I genuinely love this place. It's been a place I've come to like every week. I don't think I've missed a single one, like the meetups every week. I believe I can take it forward. Like we've got ideas of what I want to do, so which I'll explain later. You guys make this place a lot of fun. I believe I'm approachable. That's up to you guys to decide. Don't shake hands. When it calls for I'm professional, I'll say that in the next slide. And I've tried to help out as much as I can, like whether that be bringing some equipment, bringing a console down like once or twice, like that. Yeah. And what experience did I? Being a media student, I've worked in big production groups. Like with like people who just can't stick to things, and like you've had to like get them to do something. So I know all about working with people who can be hard to work with and getting things done to a set date. I was a former there for like a year, which is like you did a lot of team building exercise, so I learned a lot for that when I was there for about a year. And when I'm back home, I ran a local Smash Brothers community, which was like, it grew really rapidly. Like I wasn't in charge, there was like one person who was in charge, which I'll explain when he thought he could run it by himself, but he needed wasn't like a few others. So I was always there, coming down every single week, first one to be there, bringing setups down. And when like no one turned up, I was always like asking people, "Are you going to turn up tonight?" Like making people want to come down. Next. It's been the thing I've noticed this year. Is the social media presence. It's not been great. The Discord is reset. It was set up. He hyped it up, but it died almost instantly. And like 3 people use it now. It's something that needs to be like sorted out, which I'd like to do next year. More tournaments and theme nights and socials. This year I've noticed that I liked the theme nights every year, that they did, and tournaments like the rotation of like either a small tournament and like a big tournament come up. I thought that was good, so casuals can join in. Connect with more societies. Yes, I've heard a lot about how this society is viewed by other societies, and next year going in, I do have friends with people who are on the societies of the council, like paintballing, anime. I know I will be friends with the socials person there and the president, and then Cullen as well. It's a person we really need to start working more with. He wants to help out a lot, and I know he'd like to see us work more with him. Get the community more involved. It's a thing I want. The community is very important. So like asking people what they want to see, what they want to do, listening to them and seeing if we can implement them to get the games down that they want to play, to make them want to come more often, and listen to any old ideas. This is the thing that I learned from our Smash group. The person who ran it, he had his belief that what he was doing was correct. We brought up to him many times not to do this would be a bad idea, and then we went from like one of the fastest growing communities to one of the smallest. Like we had one of the biggest tournaments to have one of the smallest tournaments because of ideas that he thought would be the best, and we all said no, and it turned out to be correct in our view. So like not my problem. No, it's not. It'll be my problem on the council. If there's a problem, I want to be there to help deal with it, so it's not okay. Next. Any questions?
One of the biggest things with being a council is you go in with a lot. This is one thing we did this year that like really shot us and me like in the foot quite a lot. Is you go in with a lot of ideas, but sometimes like some of the things you want to do might not sync up with how they received it. It's like in terms of like the society members themselves. So like we tried to do a lot of theme nights at the start, but they weren't really received very well, and we sort of like, how would you handle things like that? Essentially, the disappointment of like your ideas not syncing up with what your people want.
That's the idea of like asking people what they want to see. Like we could suggest them like we're going to do this now and gauge the opinion reaction based on that. Then either it's a positive or negative reaction, we'd change it based on that. So if it's positive, we'd go with it. Negative, we'd change it to like see if they come down to it.
Step 2. What if they have no ideas? What do you do then?
What if they have no reaction?
No.
What we had this year.
That's what we had.
So do you want us to do this?
What do you do
That'd be it.
if like obviously your ideas aren't syncing up, but you ask them for ideas, but you haven't really received anything strong either? Like where would you go from that point? Like
There'd have to be a consult in that event, which I'm sure to God hope doesn't happen.
So did we.
There would we'd have to discuss as a council. We would have to decide of something as like a contingency, like a backup plan, and then just have to go through with that as that being the night for that week. Despite either being it, if it's received well, not received well.
Anyone else? Jazz?
Being part of LDS, a big thing we do is the 24-hour events, which
Yes.
are sort of widely liked and people enjoy. We have a big sort of thing with special effects, and that's been for a few years.
Yeah.
We raise a lot of money for them. Have you got any sort of big ideas on things to do to raise money at the 24-hour events and how to make them bigger?
Well, so this year there's like the markers for like if you raise so much money there'll be a challenge. There'll be completely like all they did is that did was it the chili? Was it?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, the chili.
Mistake is what it was.
It's like
I've still got the recording.
I've still got that now.
like challenges to do with that. It was like challenges like that, but also like challenges and like on the night like challenges through gaming, like beat someone's high score or something like that in like a game. Have people bring down their own self, saying like 10p to do something that go towards the money raised.
Sam?
So being president is a massive role. Like at the end of the day, you're going to be taking charge of society, and you're going to have to tell your council what you want them to do. So are you prepared for to have that big leadership role and be able to tell exactly what your council?
I believe I can, but the way I want to run it is to not have like one person in charge. Like I'm not yeah, I've got to be in charge, but the way I don't want to be like person like we've got to do this because I say so. You got to have the discussion with people, like talk to each other, gauge, like see if people want to do it or not. I don't want to be but if it has to come to it, yes, I would have to do it.
So basically, if the council split in half and they went, we think this is a really good idea, we think this is a really bad idea, your decision is the one that matters. So would you be able to overrule people and perhaps upset them if necessary in terms of making a decision? Because it will happen, you will get people that won't agree with you, and it is your job at the end of the day as president to say yes or no. And you've got to have plans in place, contingencies in place to reform the group after that kind of thing. Do you think, how would you handle that? How would you?
In that event, there would have to be a discussion with why one idea would be best and why it wouldn't be best, and the other idea why it would be best. There have to be a discussion. You can't have people falling out because that just means to the society just collapsing on itself. So I would have to consider both options before deciding, and also ask the community what they think.
So if someone got really angry with you, how would you sort of on the council? If someone was upset on the council,
I'd have a calm discussion with them because arguing with people is like the worst thing to happen in a council.
Bring a frying pan just in case.
How's that?
It's funny.
It's not limiting us.
Use it as a trust.
Hobbits use it too.
A drying pan?
Yeah, you're talking about big ideas. You got any idea what big idea you want for next year that we didn't do this year?
Not Smash Melee.
Like, have you got anything you want to do differently this year that we didn't do this year or next year?
Definitely next year. Not at this current moment, sorry.
Right, no further.
Anyone else? Chapman?
I have 3. I like the question.
One at a time.
I can give someone a
Yeah,
go.
go for it.
I think one of the best ways to measure, like, get to the end of the year and say that president was a good president is to say they were both charismatic and professional, like, at the same time, all times. Do you feel confident to do things such as, like, at the start of the year we had walkabout, to at one point jump up on the microphone and be like super excitable, get everyone hyped up, but also say your VP had literally forgotten everything they were meant to bring and you were absolutely pissed off at them? Would you be able to still retain that sort of, you know, happy, professional manner in front of all the members, whereas with the council maybe be a little more harsh to them?
Yes, because in that event, the most important thing there is getting people to come down again the next week. You have to make sure, you have to be excited and like keep people interested and excited on that night. So in that event, you'd have to, the argument the council would have to come afterwards on the day after maybe to have that discussion. You'd have to keep the anger not visible, and then still put on a brave face to people just to keep them excited and to keep them coming back.
I won't forget.
Chapman 2.
Dots.
Gonna go for a risque one. What would you do differently to what Ollie did this year? Is there anything you'd criticise him for that you would do differently?
Dyed your hair blue.
I don't want to dye my head red. No, sorry.
The only reason I say it's not like a slight to Ollie or trying to get you to punch him or anything. It's a good way to kind of like identify what president you're going to be, because everyone kind of has like a different take on it. One might be more of like a talker but not do stuff behind the scenes. One might be very quiet, do everything, and the VP be very charismatic talk.
I'd like to be a bit of both. Like I want to engage with the community, like have them be engaged as well. That's also pulling my weight as well with the weeklies and stuff like that.
Chapman 3.
If say we're at this point next year, what one thing for you would be the main way that you would say I had a good year as president?
More people turn up to election night.
Wow. It could be a week later.
We have, if it's for a successful year, it would be for if people came back, like a large amount of people came back regularly, week in, week out. Like that's how you gauge if it was a successful year. It's all if people constantly kept coming back saying it was they had a good time here.
Anyone else? Gilbert?
They're talking about setups and building infrastructure. What can you bring to the table in terms of setups, or like just generally consoles? Could you bring
Consoles, either PS4, a 360, a Wii U. I could bring my Wii back. PS2. I have like loads of old games in there, but I don't have anything past the PS2 like earlier than that. I also have a PC in case we do any like PC related things.
I'll give you one of the questions I had. It was something like, if, for example, a fight broke out between two members, say like it got very competitive one night, what do? You get very angry at each other.
I'd take them to the side, talk to them, just say this. You can either sort it out, or you can either be suspended from the thing. Because if the fight breaks out, if there's a history behind it, if it's going to keep happening again, you either suspend them until it's sorted out, or just don't let them come back at all.
Previous scenario. Say you had a tournament planned, big tournament, it's like Halo. You get here, there's no TVs, no one's got anything. AV's fucked off. You can't get a hold of anybody. What do you do? So
It does happen. It does happen.
Every single
Do
week.
it. I recommend doing the same thing I do during Smash tournaments. Claw under the table and cry.
That's a good idea, actually.
It helps so much.
My immediate response in my head was doesn't matter what sex.
What?
In that event,
Oh well.
Yeah, so you're trying to ring your council members, no one's picking up the phone, you get here, there's no TVs, AV's shut, and it's a big night.
to be honest, I don't know. In the truth, I don't know. If the case is that you can't contact anyone, you can't get the thing that you need, then yeah, I'd have to like improvise, and I'd probably have to run back. like set up something like get footage on or something like that. Say sorry, apologise to everyone who's been excited to it and have to set up something else to like just to get through the night. Because in that event, if the tournament plan now, that you then say to them, it's going to be rescheduled for next week, and then you'd have to make sure that it's on next week. You'd have to make sure.
You've got access to upstairs, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a really helpful thing.
Yes.
It's been my secret weapon
Because a
for
lot
2
of the time
years.
AV just don't do this
No,
stuff. And that's what we send Reese to do every week.
Just make TVs.
So that's a very helpful thing. 'Cause normally if they don't give us the TVs, they are somewhere.
Yeah.
They exist. So
Yeah, just to add on to that, even if like you're going down all of like your plan A, B, everything's like not adding up, the best thing you can do is even in that situation just keep a brave face, because people will unite behind like a competent president. Because there's like an event, I think it was a walkabout a few years back, and you saw these sort of about to panic. I was like, I cannot do that, because any council member panicking, you need to just keep them all. And even the members, if they turn up, it's like, oh god, where's my headphones on? Fuck you. They'll be like, they'll understand. They'll be like, okay, because you're not sort of like shitty yourself. You're like,
No, that was the night that anything and everything went wrong that could have gone wrong.
yeah, it was like the.
Is that them, do you?
No, I think it was really the. Chris, I think.
Was it that Christmas one?
It was like everything had like a controller missing. Everything had like an extra peripheral missing. Some games are just like, I need the DLC. I have the DLC, but I need it. But you haven't. But I need it. Nintendo.
any other questions?
Yeah.
That's fine.
You want to magic one up, Jack, then?
That's it.
What?
Yeah. Don't want to. You can't magic up another question.
You want to magic up another
Let's go for
question?
a fourth question.
Go on then.
What's your favourite magic trick?
Stop it.
What?
Jackson's fourth question. Magic trick.
I thought you were going to ask about the sandwich again. I was going to hit you.
Magic trick when you throw the card, stack of cards at the glass and it ends up on the other side. I like that one.
Oh, okay, I've got one.
Oh, well, have I got a trick for you?
It's a very hypothetical, this totally hasn't totally happened scenario. So the VP of Activities sits you down, he's like, oh, don't worry lads, we're going to make your society great this year, we're going to promise you all these things we're going to do, yeah? And then the VP of Activities leaves, and then you try to go to the SU and you go, oh, well, you go, guys, you promised us all these things, but like, what happened? And you don't get anything back from the SU, like, how do you respond to that?
Keep contacting them or then eventually show up in person and just confront them about it.
But what if the SU don't respond to your confrontations? Like how do you deal with that?
Bring a
That
megaphone.
crushing, this crushing scenario.
If it's the SU, there's nothing you can do in that situation. From what I've heard, they're quite troublesome to deal with.
Keep chipping away. You'll be there a while.
Get there eventually.
It's like marble, and you've got a toothpick.
Solve it,
But,
solve
in
it,
theory,
solve it, solve it,
eventually,
solve it.
yeah, like
Solve
selfish
it,
shit.
solve
that
it,
is.
solve it, solve it,
Eventually.
solve it, solve
The
it.
short-term redemption strategy is just slowly chip away at massive.
You get there and wonder why the fuck am I here, but and
You
by
forget-
that point,
you
it's a
forget-
different SU president.
By that time, you've forgotten your whole reasoning for doing it.
Yeah, it's like, what president am I again?
Do you have any plans for any big events that we haven't done this year, like trips or socials or anything like that?
I'd like to get to with jams. Like someone said before about the Comic Con. I'd like to get involved with them, and, like organise a trip to like Comic Con with them because they do trips like that. To play Expo again, that'd be a good. How many people came out this year? I don't know.
28.
Like an event like that again would get like that. More 24-hour events like whenever if special effect do more, but like or in that, or just have a 24-hour just for the hell of it.
But if you give them money, they're happy.
Yeah.
Mark's lovely, keep in
Yeah.
contact with Mark, because he's so big.
One more hypothetical question. Alright, so you've got a trip going, yeah, and there
Don't
are
ask
25 people showing up for your trip, but the register that the SU handed you only has 20 names on it. What's the first thing you do?
Write the names on the register.
It was the other way around, wasn't it? It was for Play Expo, we had like 26 people, and then on the day, like 2 extra people turned up that the SU hadn't told us had paid. And I was like, what are these people? And they had like proof they paid for it as well.
Yeah.
It was a good job they had there were seats for them. But yeah, that was the scenario Reese is saying. But yeah, what do you do?
It's like their name now in the register. That's the first thing you do. It's like make sure have them show like the proof that they've paid, but then just put the names on the register and see if there's any space room on the coach.
I think just on a trip, how do you keep track of everyone? Like, for example, when you play Expo, it's issue, everyone disappeared.
Before you, as you set up in the morning, you tell everyone of the plan. Like you designate a meeting point, tell everyone the time they should be there for. Like give them like a time, like maybe like 20 minutes before you have to get on the field, maybe half an hour. Tell them to be at this point at this time, and maybe, if possible, make like a group chat just to make sure that everyone is in contact with each other, and have like phone numbers down and stuff in case you can't get into it. So.
Phone number's a big one.
Last hypothetical. Same bus, obviously, but there's only 25 seats, and the SU have allowed you like 28 people to buy tickets. Like, what do you do? Like,
Are you about to say who do you leave behind?
yeah. What 3 people do you go? I'm sorry.
The captain, the president, and the VP.
Someone says some Jackson.
I mean, I can fit in the boots.
I'll get on the roof.
Don't most coaches have toilets?
Yeah, but who the hell's going to go in there?
Floor's yours.
That's suicide.
That's my friend. I don't know what to do in that situation.
Like your own private room.
Like, pick another
It's a
bus.
bit impossible.
Basically, you kill 3 of
It's
them.
an impossible question, please.
Get a big bus.
I can give you the right answer.
Yeah.
You get a bus more than what you need for.
I mean, if the coach is there on the day, the last 3 people to pay is take it home. That's literally
Or
it.
you're going to.
There's also the other answer of you call an Uber for 3 members of your council.
Follow that coach.
I'm sorry,
To Manchester.
I feel like Lincoln to Manchester, Uber
That's
taxi.
literally the budget.
You think if I was an Uber driver and I didn't get a Lincoln to Manchester drive, that I would be like, hey, I'm on that.
The Uber driver would be fine with it. I don't think they're free students.
That's actually true.
Unbelievable.
Imagine if someone rocks up and is like, I've just learned to drive. I am an Uber drive, please.
Going on from Jackman's excellent point, the unsafeness of.
How many goddamn hypotheticals are we going to do? Hey, if Godzilla attacks, what are you
I
going to
thought
do?
you said 31 minutes left on the battery.
Society, because one of the things you have to do is submit like a big health risk form at the beginning of the year, and then you've also got to do that for every single trip you do. So, what do you think are the main like health risks? Health and safety.
In this room would be like the fact that we've got a lot of equipment with wires, electric shocks. There's also a lot of furniture, so there's like potentials for people to like hurt themselves with some furniture if it's not put away correctly. I feel like I'm like a media now, it's like makeup things. Check fire risks, of course, that's the big one. Make sure there's like nothing sharp.
Let's say you start off your year really strong, good, great attendance in it. So it declines over time. Like, how proactive would you be in like when we're like, oh, this is concerning, then you'll do something. Like, would you try and stop it before that, or?
Would you try to realise that beforehand? It's like if you've noticed people dropping down, the numbers dropping week in, week out, you've got to notice that as soon as you can, and then try and do something about it, whether like increase the social media output, of, like, or do something to get people back in, like do like a surefire tournament like work, that'll work, something like that. Like just try and get your exposure out more. Like say if social media drops, you got to do more posts, tell more people like posted would work as well.
Bonus hypothetical.
So this cameraman keeps asking you questions.
This is another one that totally happens. So
You just stop answering the questions.
Oh, nice one.
you get to a good couple of weeks in, obviously, and you've got a good number of members who have paid. But you notice that Gilbert hasn't paid his membership to keep turning up to sessions. How do you deal with a Gilbert who turns up to your sessions but hasn't paid continuously? What's your policy?
Angelo did that more than I did.
Who talked that I didn't hear him?
Yeah, so what's your policy? What's your policy?
You tell him he can't come, but then he turns up anyways, you just give up.
Right, you don't think you're before.
Like,
The serious question is, someone hasn't paid but keeps turning up. What do you do?
That would have been a better question.
It's the same question. It's just more direct.
In that
Say that, Gilbert. You said say A.
Hypothetically speaking, if I hypothetically asked you a hypothetical question, how would you hypothetically answer in this hypothetical situation of hypotheticals?
So if someone kept turning up without
Yes.
having paid the membership,
Yes.
you chase them up saying,
Hypothetically.
have you paid your membership yet? You keep chasing them, but eventually gets to the point where they say, no, you can't come until you've paid your membership. Then they say, just no.
How do you
The
dispose
general
of
rule
body?
is that the first month of
I can do that.
societies is free,
I've heard Anthony.
and then after that, you have to pay.
Oh, yeah.
Sam,
Yes.
wait,
Sam, you Gilbert.
I can't wait for you there.
Sam,
Sam!
Sam, help me!
I've changed my mind. You're pushed back down to third place in the best place.
Okay!
Second best LGS score ever.
President
Your mum
dead.
thinks your presidency. And
that's how you say
Wait, what? I didn't hear the
Your
first
mum thinks your
part.
presidency, excuse me.
Mr.
Let the
President,
man
get
talk.
down.
Just ask your fucking
Look into your pregnancy, Jack. What can you do?
Right, so you're a month into your presidency.
Not pregnancy like you thought I said. Alright, and your members start saying they want your VP to be pres. What do you do?
You respect their wishes.
Who's the president?
hold this together. Try to be professional again.
In that situation, you just go along with the meme from like, but then I don't know.
There's nothing you can do.
I feel sorry for him.
So it's not terrorised.
I was going to say, leave him alone.
Look at Ollie's face. There's nothing you can do.
Super bonus hypothetical.
Why?
How much pressure on the
Turbo HD.
How sharp is a hypothetical?
So you've got this big event planned, but then like when you get to
fine,
like,
it's
like
good.
I don't know, like a day or like on the day of the event, like 3 of your council go, I don't worry, I can't turn up, I got work, man. And the other one's like, I can't turn up, I got work. And the other one's like, and then you're all by yourself. What do you do?
In that situation, you just tell them to smash and be done with it.
Hell yeah.
That works in the day, then on the board.
My God.
Push the sofas together.
This is a question for the existing council. How much shit talk is there?
Serious questions only. Sam, have you got a legit question?
So I've been at this university for quite a while now, and in the room just over there, I built this quite nice weekly Smash tournament group.
Is there a name for this group?
Like, how do you plan to integrate
Is there a name
this
for this
group
group?
into your LGS?
Is there a name for this group?
Yeah, London Bounce.
But it's another game society.
Yeah.
Did they focus on one game?
Just
In that case, you could just set up like a small TV in the corner and say, yeah, just come on and play that game you like playing.
Wow.
That'll give them satisfied.
Jackman or Gilbert? One of you.
I know it's going to be the same ballpark probably.
Oh, no, mine's a different question.
What is it?
Do you know you haven't asked it yet?
Just ask them. Just
That's
ask
the goddamn
ask
question!
the question. Fair enough.
One of the
Minutes is good.
Yeah, we got 4 more minutes of memes.
A lot of presidents have suggested like moving venue like into the main.
Oh my god, a legit question.
Yeah. Would you ever consider like if there's just not enough space or room there, would you consider moving venue?
Yeah, it has to be taken into consideration. Like, this place has been served well this year, mainly because the amount of people who came was kind of lowish. But this room is big enough for like maybe like 30, 50 people, like 30 people. But if the numbers start, you have to consider like moving to a different room, like or maybe like using like 2 or 3 the room next to it. To us.
Legit question, Jackman? No? Anyone else? Gilbert?
There's no more serious ones.
Gilbert?
The floor is mine.
You had one?
Yes, I also did have one.
That was it.
Yeah.
Seriously, what was the question?
No, my other question was the, you know, because the tabletop society and the youth, well, not youth society, but like,
Who are they?
Oh, for fuck's sake!
I'm not saying a Friday session where people used to play card games at the main building. That was one of the greater nights. Like, how would you attract other people who would play stuff like Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic,
Invite them to come down and just play it and play.
Because isn't tabletop also on Wednesday now?
Some weeks they don't all fucking do. That's on YouTube, I don't care.
Some editing is going to happen.
We're just going to have a massive
Pure content.
Just put the
with just Jackman shit talks tabletop written over the top of it.
You just hear music go.
We done
Legit.
5 minutes of hypothetical
Sam, last
questions
question
later.
from Sam.
Now Jackman said.
Come on, last question.
Mario or Luigi?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
You're stuck in a mix-up. Do you block high or low? False question. They threw.
DK.
Pineapple, pizza or nah?
Nah.
He passes.
Jackman, what's your question? I would like it.
So it's a very serious question.
Ultra
So,
hypothetical fight at
Oh
5.
my god.
It's very widely regarded that when I'm on the council, I die, disappear.
Yes.
How do you
I-
plan to honour his spirit?
There's a little duck drawn in that roof that's been there for 3 years. Will you keep it?
Yes.
Good.
Alright. One more dab for the stream before we run out of space.
Talking or dead?
Hell yeah.